Well, it was quite challenging, as it is with when you normally pick a squad, probably a little bit more challenging than the squad that I had to select last year, in the sense that it's been a while since we've been together. We have players that are sort of starting pre-season. We've got players that are just coming off a winter's break. You know, we've got players that aren't necessarily playing regularly in their club teams. So, you know, putting it all together with the amount of names and things that we have, there was some difficult decisions in the selection, but I'm happy with the squad that we've selected.
We'll start with questions from the floor before we go to questions online. So start with you, Tracy.
Tom, I'll just address the elephant in the room so we can then talk about other more pressing matters. But do you think once Sam Kerr has got her court case out of the way and her injury recovery, will she captain Australia again?
That's a good question. It's difficult for me to answer that, to be perfectly honest. I think obviously with the court case that's going on at the moment, it'd be unwise of me to sort of comment on that and comment on the outcome or whatever that outcome might be of that. So I think it's a case of waiting to see what happens and then move on from there. You know, from a football perspective, my main aim as the head coach is hopefully to have Sam fit and healthy in as quick a time as possible. I saw some video of her last week and she's running pretty strongly. So, you know, from my perspective, I'll let this process take its course and then we'll look at what we do after that.
And from your perspective, is there a set of standards that players must meet above and beyond to fill the role of the captain?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know the answer, the complete answer to that, to be perfectly honest, Tracy. As I say, I hadn't even thought of that scenario at this stage, because my main scenario, first and foremost, my main scenario is to, apart from knocking things over, is to look at this squad for this tournament and focus on that. And with regards to Sam, my main scenario is hopefully that she gets back to good health as quickly and as safely as possible.
Tom, you've known Sam for much more than a decade.
Yes.
Were you surprised by the words that she used in the police station?
I only saw this stuff this morning, but it's, as I say, it's hard to comment on those things because you're not there and you're not in that situation. So I don't think it would be wise for me to make any comments on what happened in the court case. As I say, that's something that has to run its course, and I think any comments that I might make would be unhelpful to that.
Is the most frustrating part that like it keeps popping up? It's such a drawn-out process, isn't it? The court appearances here and there.
Well, hopefully the things that are happening now, and there'll be a resolution to it in the very near future.
Her inclusion not in the SheBelieves is because of her injury, though?
Yeah, she's still injured. She's not ready to play again yet. As I say, I had some video of her last week, and our physio was over at Chelsea last week and got some video of her doing some fairly strong running. So she's in the process of coming back, but I would still suggest from an injury perspective, it will probably be sometime in March before she's back on the field.
As well as seeing the video of her starting training, can you give us a sense of communication you've had in recent weeks, whether around this squad or even as the trial?
No, our communications are just generally on her and getting her back to good health and fitness. That's generally our communication. A little bit of chat about the upcoming baby, things like that. But our chat's been around that, not about the squads that I'm selecting or anything around anything else. It's really just been about her recovery and her health.
Do you think you'll be around by the time she's fit in terms of coaching the team?
I'm still here. I'm still here. Look, that's a good question. I don't know. It's, as I say, and this has been since September. It's a situation where, you know, I might be here next. Obviously, I'll be here for the SheBelieves. After that, I could be here for the next window, but then it could be that the Federation have a coach in place that happens very quickly. You know, things in football have got strange twists and turns and can happen quite quickly, or it could still be here for some time.
When we spoke last year, I think you said ideally a new coach would need the whole of every window this year to prep properly for the Asian Cup. Is it being compromised at the moment, notwithstanding that,
think,
you know, your own talent?
I think I said, so my memory's not good, but I think I said that ideally, if you had a year to prepare for the Asian Cup, that would be it. I was asked that question, and I pulled out that time frame. However, that's dependent on a lot of factors, you know. So if somebody comes in to the job who's got a good knowledge of the team and a good understanding of football in Asia and things like that, then that time frame doesn't necessarily have to be as long as that. So it depends on quite a lot of factors. Also depends on where the squad's at that particular time, because it might be, say for example, somebody doesn't come into July, then if the squad's still fairly settled and organised by that stage, then it's a lot easier. If it's a squad that's still in some state of flux, then it's a little bit more complicated. So as I say, I just sort of generally put a generic timeline on it.
With the squad that you have selected, we've got Tash coming back, Daniela, Winona, all players that you've sort of started to blood at the international level. Now they look like they're on the road to that tournament as well.
Well, that will be probably for somebody else to decide. But I think those players have come into the squad and shown so far that they're quite comfortable to play at this level. And as I say, one of the things that's important to create at this time in the cycle is competition within the squad. So the more players that we can get coming in and actually putting pressure on players that are already in there, the better for the squad.
Will you use SheBelieves Cup to win it, or is it
It'd be nice to win it. We're in everything to win it. I mean, we're an international football team. So there are different times in the cycle where games have different levels of importance. But this is a tournament against 3 high-quality teams. It's a tournament that will be a real test for us, both ability-wise, character-wise, etc. And our aim, and the one thing we want to get back to with our Australian team, is that whenever we go out in the football field, regardless of who we're playing against, we want to win the game.
We'll just go a couple of questions from inside and then we'll go online.
Yeah, Mary Fowler's decision to skip the last window last year, do you think that's paying off given the form she's in at the moment for Man City?
Hopefully she keeps going and she comes in next week or the week after. Look, she's playing very well. She looks on top of her game. She looks fit. She looks healthy. She looks like she's enjoying her football. So it'll be great to have her back in the squad.
Tom, is it time for Mary to kind of, she's reaching an age now where she's going to start entering the prime, but she's the focal point for this team?
I think she's still got some ways away from what I would call reaching her prime. She is already, a world-class footballer. And as I say, a football career is a journey in many ways, and she's sort of on a really good trajectory on that journey at the moment. So, for me, it's her continually to, and simple answer to your question is yes, I want her to really sort of step up in the national team and, if you like, lead by how she plays in the games. So I think that's important, but it's also important for us to remember that she is getting good experience at the moment, but she's still, in relative terms, still quite a young player.
You mentioned Journey as well. Holly McNamara has had a pretty up and down couple of years. She's found some form coming straight back in. Are you excited to get a chance to work with her? And is she one that can, again, be a star of this team in the next 5 years?
I think so. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Holly because, she's had a horrific time with injuries. But when you look, it's a great question, because when you look at the qualities that Holly brings, and she's brought by going straight into the W League, that's the kind of qualities that I want to see from players in the W League. I know I get a lot of questions about selecting players, A-League women, sorry. I get a lot of questions about selecting players from the local competition. And what I would say to that is I want players in the local competition to make me stand up and select them. And that's what I want to see when they play. And Holly's just come straight back in, and she's already shown those kind of signs. You know, she's been dynamic, she's been aggressive, she makes great forward runs, and she's a winner. So I want to see more of that from A-League women players.
Just hold from the floor and go online to Aaron Smith.
Hi, Tom. How you
Hello, Aaron.
doing? Can I just ask about Leighton Fry? Obviously, she's having a blinder with Brisbane Roar. What led you to pick her for this squad?
What made me pick her for this squad is that, again, she's shown qualities in the A-League women that's excited me. You know, she's scored goals, she's got involved in games, she's created chances, and she's shown the kind of form that makes you say that you think she can probably step up to international level. So although she hasn't had a lot of experience at club level, it's a great chance to see if somebody can go from that level and step straight into international football.
Follow up, Aaron?
Yes, thanks, Ed. And can you talk a bit about how hard it's going to be to manage the fact everyone's at different levels in this camp and picking a game day squad?
Well, I mean, the upside is that you don't get much time to do it anyway. So you get in and you get maybe 1.5 training sessions before you have to play a game. And the reality, that's the reality of modern day football. The good things is that because the game now is 52 weeks of the year, players don't tend to get greatly out of shape. And I'm a great believer that regardless of your situation, whether you're in pre-season or you're just coming off a winter break or you maybe haven't been in the team, you know, when you're asked to perform, you've just got to go over that white line and go out there and perform.
One, Aaron?
Yeah, just one last question. Tom, can you talk a bit about the opposition? Obviously, huge chance here and a good test, especially up against USA after they knocked us out at the Olympics, and Japan will be in the Asian Cup.
Yeah, three very different teams and three different challenges. Obviously, the Japanese are coming into this tournament with a new coach and a European coach, so it'll be interesting to see if that changes any of the dynamics around their team. But we kind of know, regardless of what to expect from Japan and how we need to prepare to play against them. Very different game to the US, which will be much more physically a physical type of game, faster, etc. And then a Colombia, which will be a mix of that, a mix of South American football, along with some tasty physical challenges, probably.
Thanks so much, Aaron. We've got time for final questions coming in on the floor.
Yes. Tom, do you have any updates at all on Courtney Vine, where she's at? She plans to return to football anytime soon. Have you spoken to her about this?
Yeah, I've been in contact with Courtney over the last couple of weeks. She's just not at the stage yet where she feels comfortable coming back into international football. She's back in training with Carolina in the NWSL. So I think it's just important for her to get club football under her belt, get back playing again, get back to the love of the game, for want of a better expression. And hopefully when she does that, then she'll be ready to come back into international football.
All right, final question.
Just on that, Tom, what is the issue with international football?
You're asking me all these difficult questions today, Tracy. And I'm not being evasive. It's just, she just feels at this stage, she just feels both mentally and physically just not ready to come into camp. That's probably the sort of simplest explanation that I can come up with that. She's just trying to get herself back in to sort of playing football and enjoying football at times. You know, I think a lot of athletes, particularly highest level, have certain degrees of stress levels that some can cope with and some find it challenging, and at the moment she's just finding that challenging.